Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Drivetime. This is a special one, and it actually links to driving in a lot of ways. Uh, Let me tell you a story. It all begins on a dark night, driving home from a convention somewhere in central Pennsylvania. And I know I was in the car. I might have been driving, my old stepsider Chevy pickup. Or it might have been Tim Truman driving in the family soccer mom van. I can't remember. And there were other people with us, probably Tim Harkins, maybe Tom Lyle, maybe Flynn Henry. I can't remember who else was in the car. And you just get to talking, fill the time on a nice long drive. And Truman brings up this idea that he has for a magazine. It'd be like a black and white magazine called Rumble Strips. And it would be comic book stories about driving, about cars and truck drivers and motorcycle gangs and stuff like that. And so all of us are talking, what our various ideas are and everything else and how cool that would be. Well, I just fell in love with the idea. Wow, I would love to work on something like that. And of course, this is a dream. This is the late night conversation on a lonely road to kill some time before we all get home. But still, to use a car analogy, I'm firing on all cylinders. Tim's got me all revved up with this idea. Now, growing out of that night, Tim would create Dragon Chang. I think he did a one shot. I don't think it was a miniseries. I think it was a one shot about an Asian truck driver, tough guy, shooting and stabbing his way into your heart, that kind of thing. And it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I remember the Tim Bradstreet, I think, did the cover or inked Tim on the cover, and it was really cool looking. But I didn't come up with any. Well, I came up with something, but I'm a writer. I can't. Tim could get right to work on this thing because he, writer artist. I couldn't. I needed an artist. So of course I turned to Flynn Henry. I said, well, I'm going to do a crazy car thing, crazy biker thing, which is what I had in mind. I'm going to go to Flint. And I came up with the 7 Deadly Sinners. I'll explain the plot line later on. I came up with the 7 Deadly Sinners. The title comes from, I had a lot of late night jobs in Philadelphia out of high school. And I'd be on the subway at hours you really shouldn't be on the subway. And I remember looking up and seeing written on the ceiling, not spray painted like Philadelphia tags usually are, but this was written like in a big fat magic marker. And it just said 7 Deadly Sinners. And this has to be like 72, 73. And I thought, 7 Deadly Sinners. How cool is that? And I just sort of, like a writer does, sort of stuck that in the back of my mind. And when Tim started talking about rumble strips and, car action, motorcycle action stories, immediately thought 7 Deadly Sinners. What a great name for a motorcycle gang, an outlaw biker story. So I wanted to work with Flint because Flint would do the homework and bring the gonzo element to it I needed. And so we were going to pitch it to Eclipse, and Flint drew these 2 test pieces. And one of them, as you can see, is a pencil piece. If you're watching, you can see is a pencil piece. And the other is pencil and ink. And we got Bob Harden to ink it because Flint and I agreed if we were going to do anything with motorcycles and cars and the rest of it, we wanted a real car guy backing us up. And everybody loves Bob's art on cars. More on Bob in just a few seconds. So Bob inked this test piece. And Eclipse passed on it. And we took it around different places. Nobody was ever interested in it. And so the idea died. And this is 86, 87. But it didn't die in my mind. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I kept thinking of scenes and scenarios and where I wanted the story to go and everything else. Well, Flint pulled a Colonel Kurtz on me. He retired himself from comics. So when I got to a point where I could possibly finance something like this, I had to find new artists. Well, no, I didn't have to find a new artist because I already had a guy who had contributed to it, Bob Harden. And if you're going to get somebody to draw a comic book story about motorcycles, cars, wild women and crazy men, you just can't do better. You can't do better than Bob Harden. The guy's a cartooning master, and he loves drawing this stuff. And it's obvious he loves drawing this stuff by the end product. So I approached him and I said, "Hey, you want to do this as a graphic novel? I'll finance it." And he's like, "Well, I'm teaching at the Kubert School, but I could handle a few pages here and there." And I said, "Yeah, okay. Let's not have a deadline. And I'll write it, you draw it. Whenever you can get the pages, you get to them, and I'll finance it. I'll pay you the pencil, ink, color, letter, the whole bit." So I paid him. He agreed to a dirt cheap page rate. God bless the man, just so he could get this done, because he got as excited about it as I did, which is really cool when lightning strikes like this with another creator. And so we, he did the work, and he couldn't get to it. He couldn't do like 5 pages a week. Like normal, he would do a few pages here, a few pages there, which was great for my bank account because, I couldn't lay out all that money all at one time. So I'm paying him a little, he's drawing a little, I'm paying a little, drawing a little, blah, blah, blah. And then years and years and years go by, and we have the thing completed, and we still can't get anybody to publish it, even though it's a completely done, complete package. And we can't get anybody to touch it partly because of the material. We were very close with a dear publishing company to me. I love these guys and everything else, but they rightfully said this is not a good fit for us. This kind of R-rated grindhouse throwback, violent biker epic. They didn't want to touch it. And I'm like, I completely understand. Bob and I went crazy here. So we went to Tarantino Town, and then we never came back. So I understood, but so years and years are going by, and I'm finally we got a publisher. I'll tell you all about that in a minute, and you can actually buy this thing, and the link is going to be below. Now, what the story is about? It's about this biker, outlaw biker guy, tough guy, real son of a bitch. He finds out that his buddy, his old Vietnam War buddy, has a marijuana farm up in Northern California, and he's having a lot of trouble with local law enforcement, and he can't get his Acapulco gold to market. So he needs help because he's getting pressure from the county cops, who are crooked as hell. Of course, that's the scenario in movies like this. These aren't good cops; they're all bad cops, and and a bunch of rednecks who don't like this sort of hippie commune thing that's going on in their backyard. So perfect 1970s stick it to the man scenario we got going here, and so our lead biker puts together a group of other bikers, guys and gals that he's known over the years, and they head to this hippie commune to help them out with taking their product up to San Francisco. $1 million worth of grass and a tractor trailer, and standing between them and success and a big payday is every cop in the county. So things get nuts. So, and things get even crazier because Bob's drawing it, and this is almost 120 page graphic novel, and the last half of it's car chase. They're going to go, "Chuck, a car chase on paper?" Yeah, Bob could do a car chase on paper. It's going to make you're going to love it. You're going to love it. He took so many risks, he did so much crazy stuff on this. And he would say, "Look, do you mind if I don't stick strictly to your script, if I add pages and add some ideas?" And I'm like, "Bob, we are so on the same page on this project. I trust you 1000%. You just go for it. If you have any nutsy idea, just go for it. And he did. He did. This is a balls to the wall action comic. No apologies, no looking back, no looking in the rearview mirror. We went for it hard on this. And so so that's the story. This crazy biker gang goes to help a buddy, rescue a buddy, and winds up in the wildest, basically rally race, and it's off road, on road, in the woods, and it's knives and guns and lunacy all the way, but with characters that you'll care about, and there's some really funny stuff in it. Humor, not comedy, but humor. And man, we just had a great time working on this. Just an awesome time working on this. And I would like you to pick it up. It's kind of the point of telling you about it, isn't it? I'm raving about my own work, which I usually don't do, but I'm so excited about this. Now you're going to go, Chuck, where'd you get the idea for this story? What really inspired you to want or to write a Grindhouse 1970s biker epic? Well, when I was in high school, I had a lot of motorhead friends. I wasn't a motorhead, but these guys were so into cars and motorcycles and all the rest. And they were raving about these biker movies. They were going to our local theater to see these double and triple bills of biker movies. Things like Angels Die Hard and Hell's Angels on Wheels, and things like that. And they were raving so much about them, I went to see them. And I watched them and I'm like, these aren't very good movies. They're really cheaply made, not well shot, not well acted. They're just pure exploitation. And even the better ones made by, the more high level B movie houses weren't that good. I mean, seriously, Peter Fonda as a Hell's Angel, give me a break. And there wasn't much plot. There's just pure exploitation, nudity and violence and savagery and horrible things happening, and motorcycle gangs fighting each other and torturing innocent people. And so these aren't good. I want to see a good biker movie. Never really got to see one. And it's a shame because in the 70s, you had a lot of these anti-authority kind of car chase movies. Vanishing Point comes to mind. And you had movies like Electric Light and Blue, and these were serious, A pictures about, craziness on the highway and all the rest of it. And even like creme de la creme cinema trash, like Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. I mean, they're far better made than these motorcycle movies, and I thought, why can't there be a biker epic like that? And so what I did was I ended up writing one in comic form. And I borrowed the plot line to the Magnificent Seven. Am I the first person? Well, not actually, no. Oh, actually, I was going to say the only A motorcycle picture ever made in Hollywood was The Wild One, Marlon Brando. And even that was like a, programmer. But all these years are going by, no classic biker flick. Anyway, I borrowed the plot of The Seven Samurai, which everybody's borrowed. Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven, Battle Beyond the Stars, A Bug's Life, you name it. They all took from that terrific idea of a bunch of heroes or anti-heroes banding together to save, some, helpless peasants or peons, or in this case, drug-fueled hippies. So I'm not going to apologize for borrowing from the Seven Samurai because so many other very talented people have, and I wanted my story to have a sturdy plot, and I think it works. And I love the idea of introducing each character, and each character has their own little vignette to let us know who they are. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. So there you have it. That's how it came to be. And I want you to check it out. I'm going to provide the link down here below. So if you want to order this puppy, pre-order this puppy, along with t-shirts and posters. We got all kinds of tchotchkes going with stickers, beer koozies, all with artwork designed by Bob. Because Bob, just flawless design sense this guy has, in addition to his ability to draw anything motorized and make it seem alive. Anybody can draw a car. Bob draws a car. It looks like it could come off the page after you. It looks like it's ready to go. It's a somewhat of a caricature version of a car that just makes it seem more kinetic, so much energy. And anyway, Seven Deadly Sinners is brought to you by Dixon Productions and Ripascent. So do me a favor and follow the link below and take a look at what we got. And you'll be hearing more from me about this project because I really want this to be successful. I want it to reach as many people as possible. And I thank you all, and I hope to, figuratively, anyway, see you down the road.